I wasn't stopped from doing what I wanted to for my family, and I was from the same background. We weren't from a wealthy family. My parents worked in the woolen mills and the textiles in Bradford, so I had the same opportunities like anybody else, but could not understand why girls were being held back. I had this kind of streak of feminism in me, I think, right from the start. I have to put it down to well, it was probably endorsed and supported and strengthened by my sociology teacher, Mrs. Philby. I must give her credit for that. But there was always this kind of sense of it can't be right. I came from a family where we were 4 girls and 1 boy. There were 5 of us, just the one boy. And I could see the difference there in the way my brother was being treated. Not that he asked for it or wanted. He's a very nice fella. But I could see that we were expected to do all the things like the domestic chores and the cooking, and when relatives came around, and my brother wasn't. But he had a responsibility to look after his sisters, so he had that sense of responsibility. So it wasn't as if it was all kind of one-sided. But I was always kind of struck by the differences, and why I couldn't understand why, when we were in a country like this, there were opportunities, but people were being held back. And girls were being held back. I found that really difficult to understand. And I remember seeing, in fact, I do remember, one of the cases that stuck with me, and I must have been about 9 or 10 years old when the daughter of the local corner shop was sent off to Pakistan. She was a friend, you'd always say hello to her, never saw her again. She'd been married off there, and she was about 13, 14 years old. So I think there's certain things that stick with you as you're kind of growing up, and you don't realize the significance of them until you live through life and see it. For example, you said you recognize my twang. Well, I'm a barrister, and when I qualified, I remember somebody telling me that I wouldn't get very far unless I changed my accent. And so I didn't change my accent. It's obviously evolved. I left Bradford when I was 18, so many, many years ago, but it's still there. And I'm proud to say that's where I hail from. But it was a perception of trying to become something, or people forcing you to become something that you're not. I think there's a responsibility. People like me, I'm a role model. I mentor, I champion the cause of Asian women, because when I joined the bar, people used to go into what was called ghetto chambers. You probably remember that term. So you could only get pupillage to qualify unless you went into these chambers where they were all Black or Asian, because nobody else would take you on. But I was sponsored by the Crown Prosecution Service. I managed to get a sponsorship, got a sponsorship. So I was at the bar for a while, and then I came back to the CPS, and boy, have they got their money's worth out of me over the last 36 years.